880 wins, and Bob Knight becomes the all-time winningest coach in Division I college basketball. Bob Knight played his college basketball at Ohio State. At age 24, he was head coach at Army, where his teams won 102 games over 6 seasons. It was when Bob Knight was at Army during the 1968 NIT that he became friends with Donoher.
He was in such demand then. He was at Army. Everybody wanted him at a camp or a clinic. I mean, if you did a basketball clinic, you just automatically got Bob Knight. He was the best clinician going. And he'd call, whoever was the director of the clinic, he'd say, I want you to get the coach from Dayton on, bring him on. I want him to be there. He almost became like an agent for me. And that's what I'm talking about. The guy is just, if he's your friend, he's the most loyal person in the world.
Most of all, the two coaches shared a love of the game.
That's why I think you can see that respect and that friendship that Coach Knight and Coach Donoher have, is that they understand. They're exactly the same in their commitment and love and passion for the game of basketball. A lot of people might say it's old school. I call it best school.
In 1971, Bob Knight became the basketball coach at Indiana. Coach Knight won 3 NCAA championships, 1 NIT tournament championship, and 11 Big Ten titles. He also coached the U.S. Olympic basketball team to a gold medal in 1984.
He's just an unbelievable friend. Then he caps it off in 1984 by letting me be on his Olympic staff. And he could have had anybody in the world be on it. He brought me aboard, and I'll never forget that experience either.
Well, in 1984, the Olympics were done in a way that no one has ever done them before, and no one will ever do them again. But it was truly watching a general put it, training his army and coming up with an elite force to represent his country, and it was magnificent to be a part of it. I was the guy who went for coffee for Donoher and Knight and those guys, and I was privileged to do that, especially for that level of staff and for my former coach.
Now at Texas Tech, Coach Knight's 890 victories and counting are the most in NCAA Division I men's basketball.
Let me talk to you a little bit about Dayton and about an interesting relationship that I've had with, maybe, at least in the beginning, nobody even knowing about it. And I'd like to bring a little bit more of the history of Dayton basketball to your attention. When Tom Blackburn was hired in 1947, there really wasn't a dominant basketball program in the state of Ohio. Ohio State had been to the first NCAA championship in 1939 and were beaten by the University of Oregon. In 1939, LIU won the NIT, which was a far more prestigious tournament than the NCAA was until the scandal in 1951 rocked college basketball. And Tom Blackburn's emergence as a coach, the development of his team from 47 on through the 50s, made Dayton the real diamond, the pearl of Ohio college basketball. And I don't think it was really until the 1957-58 season that a guy burst on the scene of Ohio college basketball at Cincinnati. Obviously, that was Oscar. And now Cincinnati, through Oscar, became a national entity in basketball. Dayton had already been a national entity. And so now we had 2 really well-known teams. That same year, 1958, Jerry Lucas went to Ohio State.